Thomas and the Cricketers, written by Christopher Audrey, featuring Tommy Bauer, Jonathan Isayama, Dark Magical Yoshi, The Sojourner Zero, and Daniel Alsop. A forced hurricane wind swept across the island throughout the evening. Thomas, Percy, and Toby listened anxiously as it rattled against the windows and moaned in the roof of the engine shed. Gradually, the moan rose to a howl. It wasn't long until they heard the sound of a crack and a slithering noise up on the roof as slates broke loose and slid into the guttering. The engines shivered in annoyance as they tried to get some rest. When their crews came to start work the next morning, the engines all looked rather tired, as if they hadn't slept for days.
You know,
said Thomas hopefully,
it's days like this where I sympathize on being one of those little engines that run along the mountain railway up near Gilgodred. Their trains stop running in case the winds get too dangerous.
Percy and Toby couldn't help but agree, as they too didn't want to leave the comfort of their nice warm sheds. Their drivers laughed at this. "Sorry, Thomas," replied his driver. "To begin with, you weigh more than those little engines, and secondly, winds are usually far worse up in the mountains anyway. Now come on, what would the Fat Controller say if we went and did something like that? Tell me there." Once he was steamed, Thomas hurried off to fetch his train. He soon found that the wind was not only strong, but cold too. Annie and Clarabelle didn't like it any more than Thomas did either. At the top station, they grumbled not because of the wind, but because there weren't many passengers along the platform. Thomas didn't blame them for staying at home. He wished he could have done the same. As Thomas passed the station by the river, he was astonished to see white-clad figures playing around a cricket in the field nearby.
"It's an important match, part of the knockout competition,"
explained his fireman, who played cricket himself when he had the time.
"At the end of the season, the winners will get a silver cap. But I don't envy them in this weather though."
Trees between the railway and the cricket field swayed and lurched as Thomas ran past. One of the players recognized the fireman, who responded by waving at him. The fireman waved back, but he was glad to be in the shelter of Thomas's cab today. At the junction, James told them about the trouble that the wind caused all over the island.
"I've heard word from Control that they're providing bus services from Croven's Gate to Vickerstown. What with most of the signals being faulty and everything,"
he said to Thomas.
"They even shut down parts of the main line due to either fallen trees or... even flying debris that can hit you, even if you aren't going too fast. You best just be careful when heading back up the line, Thomas, you hear?"
After James got signaled off by the guard, a concerned look crossed Thomas's face.
Right then, we better get home as quickly as we can,
said Thomas to his crew. They hurried along the line until they reached the mill station safely. Only 2 passengers got out. While this occurred, the crew were having a tough time fixating the hose pipe along the platform to Thomas's water column, trying to give him a drink. Once he was filled, Thomas whistled, setting off again. By the time he reached the curve which led around the cricket field, they were going nicely.
Come along, come along.
He puffed confidently to Annie and Clarabelle.
Not far now. At this rate, we'll soon be back in our warm shed.
He was halfway around the bend when a flash of white caught his eye. Almost at once, the train's brakes went off as the guards suddenly pulled the emergency cord. With a squeal, Thomas slowed to a stop, but not before he rounded the curve far enough to see a huge tree lying across the tracks.
Phew!
He exclaimed.
That's odd. How did the guard know about this?
His driver looked back and saw to his surprise a fleet of cricketers running towards them, followed by the guard.
Thank goodness you stopped!
Panted one of the cricketers.
When we heard Thomas's whistle from the station, it was then we saw the tree go and topple over across the line. Lucky your guards saw us trying to flag you down. We thought we were too late and couldn't make it in time. I'm glad we were, however.
So are we,
Remarked the fireman.
It was a near miss, this has been. Still, thank you for warning us. All of you.
After exchanging handshakes with the cricketers, Thomas's crew reversed him back to the mill station, where Bertie arrived to take the passengers home. Since Thomas could go no further until the line was cleared, he had to spend a cold night out of the station. He didn't mind it much, as he got to see the rest of the cricket match, which the local team won after a close and exciting finish. A few days later, at a meeting in the cricket pavilion, the Fat Controller presented the cricketers with a framed certificate to remind them of the day they saved the train. The cricketers were almost proud of this, rather than their cricket trophy.
Next year,
Said the captain of the team.
we may have to pass the cricket cup to someone else, but your certificate will always remain here nevertheless.